All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining me for another episode of 813 Sports Network. We are in I think this is our third or fourth episode, just talking about and highlighting some high school football coaches across the country. We're staying in Georgia. All right, we talking to my guy. All right, he's not a Liberty grad, not a Liberty grad, not this time, but it's still my guy. Had a chance to work with Coach Boone out in that Creekside High School back in the day in Fairburn, Georgia, and we did our thing. We did our thing. Yeah, we did our thing. So he was able to bless me with some time. Head football coach over at Langston Hughes High School in Fairburn, Georgia. Coach Boone, welcome.
Hey, thank you, man. Thanks for having me, man. You know, it's a blessing on the early Saturday morning, but you know, it's all a blessing. Anytime I can be graced with your presence.
Oh, whatever, man.
Stop
it. Cool. But yeah, man. So we get a chance to talk about Langston Hughes just a little bit, and talk about some of the studs y'all got in your program, and just a little bit. But well, first of all, let's start off. Just give a brief overview of Coach Boone, how you got your start in coaching, and some of the brief stints that you had across your career.
I started with I'm a product of South Fulton. I graduated from Creekside High School.
Southside?
Yeah. I played for Coach Amos McQuarrie. From there, I went to Benedict College. And my brother was still playing at Creekside when I was, I tore my ACL twice. Kind of got away from it. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
First time. Yeah, I tore my first time my sophomore year of high school, and I tore it again when I first got to college. So that kind of got, it's freak. So, and I wasn't, back then, it wasn't like rehab was,
right.
Bam, turn around, eyes big. So that's kind of what made me think about, okay, what's next? What am I going to do next? And I love the game so much, I had to find a way to still do it. And at that time, my brother was still playing at Creekside. So I went and talked with Coach Whitley, Kevin Whitley. He's down at Georgia Southern now. And I told him what my interest, I want to try to get started in coaching. And he was like, you don't know nothing about football. I said, I do. I know all about it. I know, I'm thinking like, I know the game already. He said, well, I want to tell you what, you come out here with us, you help around, and we'll see where it goes. And I started as assistant receivers coach, i.e., to do everything coach.
Right.
So that's why I got my start at. So it was a rude awakening, and he showed me how much I didn't know about football my first year coaching.
When you say rude awakening, what was the rude awakening you think?
And playing the game, traditional things, but when it comes to coaching it, it's so many different avenues and so many different philosophies, and it's so technical, and political, let me just say. So it was a rude awakening being the young coach on the staff. First year or so, I didn't have input. It was like, hey, this is what we're doing. We're going with it, regardless of what you think. Go. This is what it's going to be.
Right.
And I had to just, adjust to that. If I had ideas, I would bring to the receivers coach. If it meant it would go up the ladder, So I'd say rude awakening being as, it was very humbling, what I'm saying?
Right.
Hey, you just started, no voice. I had to get donuts every meeting. That was
really.
Oh man, they hazed me up now. They hazed me up pretty good. I had to go get fresh Krispy Kreme, 3 dozen donuts, and 3 gallons of orange juice every fucking Saturday morning. Meeting started at 9, and I had to travel to Riverdale to go get it. So hey, every Saturday. And
now
I look back.
Go ahead.
I use that as like, I know where I started, as a coach. So go ahead.
Cool. Now I had a chance to be around Coach Whitley, and shout out to Coach Johnny White, which we interviewed. We'll go deeper than that. But he used to always talk about, and he talked about an interview about Coach Whitley, Of course, being a Georgia Southern grad and having the opportunity to win championship after championship. Talk about the structure that he provided and the discipline that he demanded from you guys.
Coach Witt was on his coach's heart. He was on his players. We knew what he demanded, and like I said, that staff alone, it was myself, Johnny White, Willie Cannon, Corky Gordon, KD Dunn. Like amongst that staff it were already veteran coaches.
Right.
Danny, he's AP now. So when Coach Witt, kind of gave us the practice script, practice plan, it was this how it's gonna be, and it was gonna be. And
he didn't waver from what I understand.
No. He didn't waver at all. Hell no.
Right.
No. Your guys were your guys, and your guys messed up. He came to you. It was. That's when I learned that I'm going to be the best coach at my position as I could be, because I'm not the one to be called out in the meeting. Hey, your guys are not doing this. You know what I'm saying? And I know mistakes happen, but as far as a percentage, I'm trying to get 87, 90% every time.
Right.
We turn around film with my guys. And that was just what was instilled in me early, expectations, and never waver and never falter.
Yeah. So, like I said, I had a chance to visit with him, and well, of course, going down. And when I was in college, I had a chance to be around Coach Whitley, and the structure. So as a player, you really don't understand the structure behind practice. You have no idea. You only learn that when you start getting into coaching. Without proper structure in place, it's really hard to lead your guys in the program in the right direction that they should be headed in. Just talk about the structure that you provide now as a head coach, that you were able to learn from Coach Whitley and being at Creekside and being around Coach Cannon.
Like I said, piggyback on that structure. I've always been in a structured environment as far as coaching. Me as a coach right now, I try to get every week over the summer as well. I try to get my practice script to my coaches on Saturday, between Saturday and Sunday nights. So you can go ahead and prepare and know what you're up against throughout the week and know what my expectations are. That kind of came from Coach Cannon. He would always get them early. White would get them to us early. So I tried to, that's one thing I piggyback from all my mentors, that the earlier the better as far as preparation.
Right.
So I try to do my guys the same way. And
right.
My staff has been together for 3 years, so we kind of know, you are duty and responsibility haven't really changed. You know what you have. So that's kind of the structure I'm going to bring every week.
Right. Right. So your assistant wide receivers coach, and you along the way made the transition over to the defensive side of the ball. Talk to me about that transition and working with Coach Cannon at the time.
Well, I started as receiver coach, assistant receivers coach. Then I went to running backs. Running backs. That was my coach Zach Amy. He had running backs. Then I transitioned over to defense, helping out Coach Cannon, learning the DBs.
Right.
He taught me everything I really knew about it. And fast forward, that summer, Cannon got Langston Hughes job. It had just opened, so I had to take over secondary, and I kind of just took off what he did. And at that time, I was young, and we had Eric was going to his senior year. So that summer was a very active summer for Eric, and I was, taking him around the schools, and along the way while he was enjoying the visit, I'm a young coach. Hey, coach, can I get your drill tape? Coach, can I get your drill tape?
Right.
Just try to pick up different things, and that summer alone, we went across the country, and I kind of got drill tapes from kind of everybody. So
they don't give them to you just because you were Eric.
I had Eric. So hey,
right.
I got it. Make sure we get this guy this drill tape. So I got back and I just kind of got the drill tapes together, and I formulated and took a little bit and added to my own toolbox. I'll never forget Josh Hosey senior year. Kirby Smart came when he was in Alabama to see Hosey and Toots and stuff. And he was kind of like, "Hey, coach, you drills, you do." I said, "Well, coach, I got one from you, one from them, one from over there,
right,
one from here. It better work." You know what I'm saying? Y'all are the big boys. So that was just kind of how And that just, like I said, I was a DB coach, and then that's when you and I were co-defensive coordinators
Right.
that year as well. And, we did pretty well. So I think that the whole Coach Whitley structure, Coach White structure, Coach Cannon teaching me how to coach the position, what's expected from a DB, translated and kind of springboarded me up into the next level. As far as being comfortable with doing it myself and getting the guys in position and preparing the guys. Now, effort and preparation. That was one thing that I instilled in my guys. You're going to give unbelievable effort, and you're going to be prepared as we can be.
Right. And talk about specifically Coach Cannon and the influence. We're going to talk about Coach Cannon, and we're going to talk about Coach White, because I know that both of those guys are very influential in your career. But just talk about Coach Willie Cannon a little bit. I heard he turns green on the sideline. Is that true? Can you confirm that?
Yeah, he definitely does. He definitely does.
Don't make me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry.
And no, you do something make me feel good. Coach Cannon is one that is a no nonsense guy. You always hear about no nonsense. He's a no nonsense guy. He's not a man of a lot of words. But when he speaks, it speaks powerful. Yeah. And it carries weight. And like I said, I said when I first started, I said, I got to get on this guy's good side somehow. Because, the kids relate to him, when he speaks, they all listen. And it was just, I love the way he coached. And when he came to Langston Hughes, he kind of asked me to go. And I said, no, I'm going to stay with White. You know what I'm saying? Because I had been to Langston. I had been to Creekside. I coached at Creekside, graduated with Creekside. And that's kind of why I didn't come when he came. We stayed in constant communication. He was always a big brother to me. He took me on his wing, and kind of every year he kind of gives me a breakdown of where I need to grow. Like I said, my grows and glows. He did well here, but you got to work on here.
Right.
And I was able to join his staff in 20.
Hold that thought. Now let's talk about Coach White, because he eventually became Coach White was a defensive coordinator, and then eventually became the head coach at Creekside High School. That's when you and I started working together. And a shout out to you too, man. I learned a lot. So I'm not a back. How many is it back? How many is back seven?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a back seven type of guy. I don't even know how many back there.
You know the phone. The three of it.
Yeah, I don't even know how many back there, but yeah, I'm not a back seven kind of guy. So when I came, I think it was like the fusion of the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Because one thing I did understand was the front four, all right, and the 2 or 3 linebackers somewhat. But when you and I got together, I like to think that you kind of learned something from me, and I definitely learned something from you and Coach White, coverage wise. And so yeah, shout out to you. Appreciate, because that was very. I had no idea what went on in the back seven.
We complimented each other.
We definitely did.
And I think we only, I'll never forget those stats from that year. We only had, I promise you, it was maybe 15 completed passes all season.
Yeah.
We thought it was y'all to the quarterback, and we were in the back end covering everything up. The ball was coming to. We were getting intercepted.
So I know my rule hands down is you only got 3 seconds. That's all you got. And man, when I tell you that was the best defensive line I've ever coached to this day.
I mean, y'all had 20 sacks across the board.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had at least 12, 8, 10, 30 picks.
Crazy,
so it went together. It was crazy. And that was Trey's freshman year. So we had guys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We had guys all over the field. So that your knowledge with the up front and my somewhat knowledge of the back end, Coach White overall scheme, it should work. I mean, we put it together.
Oh yeah, and it worked to a T.
But Coach White, I mean, he was uh, he was the opposite of Cannon, but just like Cannon. That makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah, I get it.
Like White is the one that's he gonna have a story of everything. Every situation, White gonna have a story about one. And two, he was always smiling, showing that gap. Three, but when it came to football, he was passionate about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He would give you everything you needed, as far as preparation and everything. Like he was give me 7 points and we're gonna win. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. And that's kind of the Cannon was the quiet one. White was the loud one.
Always.
White was a confident one. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? White said, "Oh, we got it." You know what I'm saying? And you know, and when he feels it, he knows it. You know what I'm saying?
Now you talk about complimenting each other. Those two. Now I wasn't around them, but from the stories, you and the players, old players, former players,
First time,
coaches. Yeah, just talk about
the first time I was able to see White and Cannon have a White and Cannon sideline interaction. Oh man, like I said, mind you, I'm like 23 years old, right? So we're playing somebody, we're on the sideline. White's the defense coordinator, Cannon's the DB coach. So White is on the ball, on the sideline, Cannon's behind in the secondary, you know, getting the call. White changed the call, didn't tell Cannon. His secondary was out of it was, I mean, we didn't play the right coverage across the field. Nothing big happened, but it was just the fact that Cannon didn't know.
right.
When I tell you every word that could possibly be said in a matter of 35 seconds was said. And like I said, I'm the signaler, so I'm signaling the calls in. And I just took my headset off and I looked. I said, "Oh, wow. Cannon, White, Cannon was going in and White was going back and forth, right?" So we finished the game and all that stuff. And after we got done, you know, players go to the locker room, we come back out. Out of nowhere, they started talking like it ain't nothing happened. And I'm like, "Hey man, y'all were just at each other's throats." But that was the time of two passionate guys on the sideline of how it was, opposed to when the game's over, "I love you, brother." You know, and they to this day, you know what I'm saying? We
They're best friends to this day. Yeah.
They compliment each other and they push each other to be the best.
Right.
And I love that's my coaching tree, you know, and they helped me become the coach I am now.
Right. Well, yeah. So yeah, just knowing both of those guys. Like I said, never really had a chance to work with Coach Cannon, but you know, just being around him, you know, and being a chance to, you know, just hear him talk coverage, man. I had never been in a college program prior, you know, to coming to Creekside. You know, to hear a true DB just talk coverage and philosophy and concepts, man. I know that was definitely a treat for me.
Cannon's a math major. Let me just say, he
graduated. I forget about it.
With the mathematics degree. So one thing about it, he's very, very smart. And he would not only coach the DBs, he would challenge the DBs and the offense. "Hey, White, what if they give you this? What do you mean?" That's how we were so prepared, because Cannon could see stuff happening and route combinations and this, that, and the third. So we went in every game with the checks of the checks of the checks, because Cannon would challenge White with the formations and the coverages and the routes and the run games and the gaps, make sure everything was sound. When I tell you, he would know it and see it.
Right.
Like it, and that's the part of, like I said, when we get to when I got to Langston Hughes, it's a whole different learning.
Right. And so yeah, you had Creekside, and I know there's a change in coaching staffs, and you find yourself at Banneker High School, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Talk to us about that. How did that come about, and how did that go?
During that whole Langston Hughes, Creekside, deal, Creekside decided to go in another direction at coach. And one of my good friends, Ryan Andrews, he was, we were talking, and he was able to get the Banneker job. He was like, I would love you to come coach my DBs. He said he's the best DB coach in the state at that time, so I want the second best DB coach to come coaching. Mm-hmm. I said, well, I only take it if you tell me I'm the best DB coach, which I was, but hey, no, but it was his job, and I told him I would come over there with him, and I ended up going over there for that year. We made a playoff run. We were successful. We had good guys. It was just, like I said, a year that it was a crazy year. I mean, that was the year that Banneker played Creekside, and Trey was, he played his last game. And
I remember that.
And I am the reason that Trey was at Creekside, because I went and got him for bunch. And our first game was Creekside. I'll never forget, on the 47-yard line. I remember, like, 2 drives before it happened, Trey came over and said, "What's up, Coach Boone?" He said, I'm gonna get in the end zone. That's exactly what he told me. And I remember that it's almost surreal. Out of all the places in the world I'm coaching, I go to Banneker, game 1, and that happens at Trey.
So for our audience that don't know, I forget his first name. I just knew him by Trey.
Yeah, Trey.
Yeah. So I've never, outside of the Berry twins, I've never heard of a freshman coming in that had so much. I don't want to say hype, because it was everything he did was all true. But yeah, but the guy had so much hype behind him coming in. We finally get him in. I see him at workouts, and I see him do his thing. And the hype was definitely confirmed for me. Talk about Trey and talk about the incident, if you don't mind. Just giving some perspective for our audience.
And like I said, Trey was. He came in when University of Kentucky had offered him. Coach Ansley had offered him already.
Going into his ninth grade year.
The kid was phenomenal, man. He was.
Yeah.
What
he could do everything.
He could do it all. He was a freak athlete, and like I said, I was at Creekside when he came his freshman year, so going to his sophomore year. Coaching change happened. I went to Banneker. Game 1, we played Creekside. It was a back and forth kind of game, I guess. Coming out of halftime, we got the ball, and he makes a tackle. He never regained consciousness from making that tackle.
So I want to say routine, but there's no tackle routine.
It was routine play. It was nothing freakish, nothing about it. It was just, one of it was a normal tackle.
Right.
I've seen that tackle a million times over.
Right.
And just the fact of I was at that game, given the fact that I wasn't coaching at Creekside. How am I playing against Creekside when this happens? That took a mental toll on me as a coach.
Right.
Because I don't know, I didn't know what God was trying to tell me at that time. And I just look at it as, I was a blessing to see him take his last few, plays or whatever. And I'll use that as motivation. I think that he is one kid that helped me grow and appreciate coaching football. I often use that. You never know when your last play is. Like, that is literally real life.
Right.
You don't expect your last play to come in. You know what I'm saying? You'll never know when your last play is. Let me just say. So I use that when I talk to my guys. Hey man, this is real life. So that was definitely a tough situation.
Yeah, he never gained consciousness. And unfortunately, he passed away on the field.
Yep.
I remember that. I was at Independence Community College at the time, and Coach White had either texted me or called me and told me that he passed away. And man, that was tough.
Yeah. And I think, like I said, it Creekside, it helped Creekside rally around. That was their state championship year. It gave everybody something, a common bond to play for.
Absolutely.
It was bigger than, I don't care who got in front of them that year. It wasn't going. You're gonna lose because they rallied around the guy who had meant so much for the program in a short period of time. He got everybody's attention.
Yeah. So a couple policies were changed because of that game as well in South Fulton. Was it Fulton period or South Fulton?
Fulton period, I think.
Yeah, because there were no paramedics. I never seen no paramedics at the game.
Yeah, it has the state attention.
Yeah.
So
prior to that incident, there had been no paramedics at the game, which is crazy to me. Or was it trainers? There was paramedics, but I don't know who was it.
I don't think I'm at the liberty to say either way.
Right.
What was there? I know we had emergency assistant there as soon as it happened. I do know that, but I don't know as far as logistics outside of football. I don't know.
Right. Well, do your research, but due to that incident, some policies were put into place that are now present to this day as far as response time and servicing the players on the field. So yeah. So yeah, Banneker, and that was just for one season, and you get a call. Who was the call from, and where'd you go?
Willie Cannon. Call from Willie Cannon. That was in 2011 or 12, I think.
Right.
12. I actually called him. I said, man, well, he called me and I called him back. I'm trying to come over. he would always tell you ain't want to come last year. Why you want to come now?
Yeah, it sounds like a Willie Cannon question.
So yeah, I was able to come over and again, I thought I had it down pat. I could coach DBs and all that kind of stuff. Game 1, we're playing Mays at Tri-Cities in a classic, I think. Mays was high in the state. We were, I think, okay. They threw a pass. They got a first down. Cannon asked me what did the receiver do, and I told him I didn't know. I couldn't see that side of the field. I think that's what I told him. I really don't even remember on that side of the field. Let's just say he turned green on me.
You in the booth or you on the sideline?
I'm on sideline.
Okay.
He said, your next step is in that booth. After that, it's out the stadium. and I just couldn't. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it was out or a dig. I don't know.
It's a valid response.
I didn't know. I didn't see it. So So all I know, he ended up telling me, you better see it, and that kind of, like I said, again, changed me as a coach. I became a student of the game when I was at Creekside, but I had to take it another level. I promise I came home one night and I said, do I really want to coach with Cannon? Because he played DB in college. He's coached DBs. He knows this. So I know the expectation of coaching his secondary. What is it going to be?
Right.
And I didn't run from him. And I think that's, I saw it through, and that's part of why he appreciated it, because he knows what he was as a coach.
Right.
And his position, he didn't give his DBs to anybody because he didn't trust them. And he was totally hands off with me because he saw the time and the preparation I was putting in with my guys. And like I said, each year we were getting guys in school and, doing well. I mean, we were physical. We were in coverage. We weren't doing coverages. We were first one to get there, last one to leave. Worked on Saturdays, worked on some Sundays. Always in the film room. Had a separate study guide. I mean, it was just things that I knew that then, like when I was at Creekside, I was trying to go 80 to 85. When I got to Langston Hughes, my guys are gonna grade out 89 or fucking 100. That was our goal, because I knew what it was. And like I said, even then, from the DB position, I became I was over some special teams. From the special teams, I handled recruiting.
Now, time out. Recruiting. Now, whew, now I'm an independent community college, and I come visit Langston Hughes. And when I tell you, bro, it was a revolving freaking door in that front office. I had to wait. I know. I had to wait a half hour just to get to Coach Arnold at the time. I don't know if you was at Langston there or not, but I know Coach Arnold was in charge of. I know I had to wait a half hour just to get to him. Talk to us about recruiting at Langston Hughes.
Recruiting at Langston Hughes, at one point, it was kind of like a little secret what we had over here. And then I guess at some point the word got out.
Secret.
And we became a permanent stop for everybody. So we had guys in. I mean, at one time, you could have 9 coaches in your office.
Mm-hmm.
9 coaches, 8 coaches, 5. And that it's only getting worse as we progress in years because we get more talent in. Our name's starting to get out. Our guys do well when they go off to college. Even at D1, D2, D3, in AIA, they all do well. So, of course, schools are going to come back, and schools in the conference are playing against our guys are starting to come and recruit here. You draw some big names, coming through in this place. Because, like I said, at that time, we had guys. We had DeAndre, Monte, Jeff, Josh, Trey Run. I mean,
what schools did they go? What schools did they go to?
We got Georgia, Auburn, Fresno State, Kansas State, Maryland. We went sent 2 to Maryland.
Yeah. You guys are doing your thing at that time. And so you're over recruiting, and then did you ever make it to coordinator?
Arnold and I kind of did like you and I did. We were co-coordinators the whole time. He was, like I said, on paper he was a coordinator, but anything on the back end he gave me, and I had liberty to do. Because like I said, my preparation going into it, I came with, like, again, from where I started, I came with all solutions. So whatever I brought to it, it was okay, cool. And it got to the point, I promise, I mean, like, towards Cannon's latter years, looking back on it, my hindsight vision, he was pulling back to give me more opportunity to lead early on. So I think I was about 2 full seasons in, Cannon kept trying to kind of pull back on some things and grooming me to do things and, to just kind of help me learn different side of it. Every away game, I would ride with Cannon. He wouldn't ride the bus. We would drive the equipment in and stuff for sideline. So that was him and our time, so he and our time. So we would definitely have great conversation, great dialogue, and he would give me kind of where I was as a coach and, what we're looking forward to. So let me just say, if my guys didn't play well, before he watched film on that ride back to the school, whether it's long or far, I knew where my guys messed up because he could tell me. And if my guys didn't play well, he would definitely tell me. I'm using the nicer version for the podcast here.
For the audience.
Yeah, it was definitely, he would definitely let me know that my guys didn't perform well. And I use it as a challenge. And I would always try to not make the same mistake.
Yeah, so you're coaching there for a little bit, and you get the call. Talk to me about that transition from now, your assistant coach. Now you get the opportunity to be a head coach. Tell me what transpired and how that happened, and how did you feel prepared for this opportunity? Talk to us about that.
When like I said, until Cannon, I'll never get the post he put on Facebook. He said, Langston Hughes, I'm out. And I think he fade to black or something like that.
Oh, I remember that text.
I was like,
you didn't know?
I mean, I saw, I'm saying that still resonates with me.
Right, okay.
And he really done. And, it was like, Oh, now what am I gonna coach? There was so many things went through my mind first. Like, what am I gonna do? Because, like I said, me and him never had conversations about me becoming a head coach. And I never at Langston Hughes, never. It was just a honest, just give me more responsibility. So,
Right.
I talked to a couple of people, my family members, and I kind of asked them what they thought, and it was like put in for it. And all I know, I was up against great candidates.
Where did he go?
Who?
Coach Cannon.
He at that time, Florida County told their 8 athletic directors they can only be athletic directors, not head coaches.
Gotcha.
So that's why he had to pull back. So he became the athletic director, was in that role, overseeing athletics here at Langston Hughes. So, and at that time, I think we had won one, maybe 2 state championships in basketball. So Langston Hughes was a name that a lot of people knew, and like we were pushing guys out. One year we signed 15 on signing day. The following year we signed, I think, 16. And the year after was like 8. So we had guys and going to school, different schools and stuff, HBCUs, PWIs, all over the place. So it was a job that, kind of got people's attention, and like I said, okay. I put my name in for it. I interviewed once.
How'd the interview process go?
I mean, you sitting at the round table, man. It was about 8 people in there, and they each asked a question. I think Cannon asked the hardest question. I mean,
did you feel prepared?
I thought I was, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I was pretty prepared going into it. Just talking to other guys about, interview process, how was it going to be, the things that I need to work on, and where I need to focus on. So yeah, I talked to Coach White about it, and he kind of gave me his insight of which ways to go. Andrews over at Banner, he helped me out, and I just kind of went into it real confident. So, like I said, just go get through the questions, and then I had to wait to play the waiting game.
Right.
And that was one of the most stressful times. I thought was stress. That wasn't stress. Huh.
Did you think you had it, or were you making plans for Plan B?
I was pretty well. No, I wasn't. I ain't gonna say I was overly confident. No, I was prepared to go either way.
Right.
I had got some things set up just in case I didn't. At worst, I would go here. If I didn't, I would go there. So yeah, and the crazy part about it, and I didn't have a plan if I did become head coach. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I had all the plans not to be, given the fact that here I am, I'm position coach, recruiting coordinator, defensive coordinator. I've done everything,
right,
but not lead. So
right.
I was prepared to go be a position coach somewhere else or the coordinator, whatever the case may be. But I got the call from Ms. Reeves, our principal at the time.
Right.
And she pretty much told me, hey, we've selected you as the next head coach, the second head coach at Langston Hughes High School. And it was like, wow. That was it. Right. Wow. Like I was speechless, and I appreciate the opportunity. Again, it was surreal.
Right.
In that situation.
So we talked a few minutes before we hit record, and I asked you what was your biggest challenge, and you said everything. So now you were an assistant coach, so now you go from an assistant to the head coach. So you're in charge of every facet of that program: JV, varsity, offense, defense, special teams, parents, booster club. Talk to us about those responsibilities and what challenges you had, and you continue to have now.
The first challenge was, I ain't even gonna say it was a challenge. It was just, I was fighting against I was a puppet master hired. Cannon hired me so that he can coach it from afar. And that is nowhere near true. Like,
so that was the perception.
Yeah, perception. Of course, I was here. I've been with Cannon at Creekside I came here, coached with him. So perception was, oh, he hired Boone because can't be able to tell Boone how to run it. And that was, I ain't gonna say perception. Well, that was definitely perception. So what I had to do is I had to challenge. I had to make it my own thing.
Right.
I had to, and I didn't do it for that purpose, but me getting the job, I had to do it for me. If that makes sense. And so
Oh yeah, definitely.
I stuck on my four pillars, and I didn't waver. I got that from Coach Witt. What you going with? Shout out to Coach Reed as well, down at UCF. He kind of gave me some stuff too, along the way. Stick with your guns, dog. What you feel, do it, go with it. And that's kind of how I am. And even to this day, I'm still with the things that I started on. Now, our motto when I first got the job was fully invested. For us to be successful, everybody must be fully invested. Administration, teachers, players, parents, community, staff, everybody, everything must be fully invested for us to be successful. And I think that was the biggest grasp. Like I had to get everybody to buy in for one.
Right.
And that was tough
Right.
because it wasn't as tight as it could be. Let me just say that as far as other aspects. So I wanted to really, 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 really get everybody to buy in, and because Langston Hughes is a great place.
Oh yeah.
And there's other schools around that everybody thinks are great. And like I said, I'm not knocking anybody or any situation in school. I know what we have here.
Right.
And it was my job to get the world, the community, the state to see. I had to find a way to do it. And that just getting buy-in, that was the biggest thing.
Right.
That first season, we were 2-8. And like I said, it was, when I tell you, what Coach Cassidy talked about his other interview, he said Peter started walking. He took his eyes off. Oh God, he started
right.
I was him. I was Peter. 2-8.
Yeah, at least
Willie Cannon hire. Oh,
right.
Man, you hear everything. So and again, I went back to my roots. I challenged myself to become a better coach from year 1 to year 2.
Yeah.
And my expectations grew from my guys, my coaches. We just had to rally up and believe in ourselves for one.
Yeah.
And we did that. And we stuck to our guns, and we kind of got some guys in, kind of helped us out, and that kind of where we are now.
Yeah.
But back everything as far as scheduling, scheduling games, scheduling food, everything is what you do as a different as a coach, opposed to position. I got to prepare my coaches more so than my players now off things we taking on.
Yeah.
Last year was my first time arranging a day trip down and back, feeding pre-game, post-game, all that kind of stuff. So it's ever evolving, and you're not taught. You can't go to head coach class. So,
but you were able to bounce back, and you put together a heck of a playoff run last year. 11-2, correct?
Yeah, we were 11-2.
11-2. So you kind of the opposite ends of the spectrum. Talk about that now. You had a solid year underneath your belt, and then the next year you make a nice little playoff run. What was that like as a head coach? Going pretty deep into the playoffs.
That year before and last year helped me stay in the middle.
Right.
Not too high, not too low. And I challenge my guys. Now, like I said, fully invested is our first model. But we, every day only thing we break it down on is 1-0. We want to go 1-0 every week. And nothing else matters. Not a 15-0 on 3 or whatever. No. 1-0. Win the game, win the down, win the play, win the effort.
Right.
And that's kind of where we are now. We want to go 1-0 every week. And I never let my guys get too high. I'm always the one to bring them down and humble them. Because, hey, just 2 years ago, you were here, and our 11-2 run, like I said, we started off late because Fulton County stopped us for the first 2 weeks of the season. So our first game was against Harrison.
Ooh.
Right. They're coming off a state championship game. We going to Harrison. They've been playing for 3 weeks. We haven't played a game. It's just kind of how Fulton County did the scheduling. So
right.
Here we're going to Harrison. Man, when I watched film, I said, all right, well, let's go. Strap our stuff on. But the guys played well, and we actually won the game. I think we won 14-7. We beat a defending state champion, and they won their third week. So that kind of, relaxed the boys a little bit, and they started believing. And prior to that, let me go back. 2-8, I was a stickler. It had to be this way. This way it's going to be. My way. So, of course, I drive to the games, and I get up there, and the locker room is so far away. I wasn't with the boys till I came up. So I called my coach, hey, sit them up. So I had got them some warm-ups, right? Never in Langston Hughes history had they come up there and they warm up. They had their warm-up tops and their bottoms on. The first part of me was like, what are y'all doing? But then I said, you know what? I'm gonna let them have fun. I'm gonna let them do them. And that was my growth as a coach.
Yeah.
I could have just turned it and made it a whole sour situation, but I didn't. And I think that helped because the boys even said after the game, Coach, they said, Coach, we were scared coming up that hill. You gonna make a scene and go back down there and change. And the year before, I would have did that. And I would have had them frustrated going to the game. I wanted them to be relaxed and comfortable. And I think that started our season. Just coming out, and they saw we could win and play with anybody. And so, like I said, Harrison had a great team. They do a lot of great things, and to come out of that game victorious, it was like, as soon as that game's over, my first text was from Dr. Kraft. I counted AD. Congratulated me on the win because, like I said, it was a big win.
Right.
You can win from Langston Hughes. You beat the defending state championship away. You know what I'm saying? And you come out with 2-8.
Right.
It's so much like, oh my God, it was big, and we were able to come out victorious, and that kind of sparked the season. And like I said, our region and our schedule is so tough. You're battle tested coming out of that.
Right. Yeah, man. So you got a nice run last year. Talk a little bit about this year, how things are looking, and talk about some guys that's making some noise in recruiting.
This year is going to be my first year as a head coach with it being the difference. I've always coached a team that was going to hunt people. This time, I think we may be the hunted,
right?
Given the fact of what we have on paper and the expectations around. So
they high, bro.
Yeah, I know.
The expectations are high.
Yeah, I know, and I don't do well with expectations. And I tell anybody, my job is to make these guys grow and develop every year.
Right.
I don't set a number. I set goals, but I don't set win numbers. I don't set touchdown numbers. I don't set points per game. No, I got goals I want to achieve, but my thing is to go 1-0.
Right.
And I will never falter. I don't care what they say, who say 1-0. That's all that matters. Our first game is going to be the 13th, the scrimmage against Alpharetta. That's all I see. Alpharetta. And that's all I want my boys to see. And I think now it's a preaching perfection. That's the only way we're going to be successful.
Yeah.
And if we try to become perfect every play.
Yeah.
As close as we can get to perfect every play, we'll win games.
Yeah.
In all facets of the game, we'll win ball games.
Yeah.
But like I said, I key in on it's so many different other avenues that I want my guys to be in other than just footballs and wins. Academics. We had a team GPA of 3.1 last year.
Ooh, that's tough in high school.
Yeah, it's tough.
Especially South Fulton.
Yeah, we had a team GPA and it's an honor and a pledge to wear a single digit with me.
Right.
All those guys are over a 3.4.
Oh, so everybody with single digit got to have the GPA to.
You gotta have it. It has to
Wow.
match. It's a privilege. So and when I tell you, since I become the head coach, even when Cannon was, we just didn't have guys who didn't have grades. That was one thing that I'm going to help you go to school by helping your academics.
Right.
And, I got, guys, one of my guard last year went to Clemson. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
4.0.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So,
big.
I got another guy, one of my upcoming safety, Terrence Love, 4.0, Stanford offer. So grades and academics are really, really, really important here. And I check Infinite Campus. I check my guys' grades every day. My wife will tell you, who grade you put up now? I'll look and I'll shake my head and I'll be surprised because I focus on other than strictly football. I'm gonna check on you to see how you're doing at home. That's the kind of coach I am. It's bigger than, like I said, wins and losses. I want to see you grow as a person.
That's what it's all about. Really and truly, that's what it's all about.
If I'm not invited to your wedding, I didn't do my job.
Yeah. Now, I say this all the time, but grades and play on the field are closely related. If you're stinking it up in the classroom, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna stink it up on the field.
No. My top guys, I will put their GPA up against most of the other top guys in the state as far as they go for numbers. Like,
so you said last year your GPA team wise was a 3.1. So there's no surprise why your record last year was 11-2. I mean, it's not like that across the board, but I'm just saying for the most
probability.
part. Yeah,
the probability of me having a successful season because the guys equate what I'm doing in the classroom.
Absolutely.
I'm doing my job. I say when you start doing things right, good things happen. I tell them all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
Good things happen.
Right. And so, and that's just you can almost count on your kids doing the small things. That's what it comes down to. Everybody in Georgia is talented for the most part, especially when you have the kind of schedule that you have. That whole schedule can be talented. So it's going to come down to the small things. All right. So if you're not taking care of your academics, doing the small things in the classroom, that's going to surely show out come Friday night when your team is depending on you. When you peeking inside, you got contained, you peeking inside, and now the running back gets the edge, and it's house call for 6. That's the difference between winning and losing.
Winning and losing, that's just like turning an assignment on time and an assignment late.
Absolutely.
It equates to the same thing.
Absolutely. It is. And if you think it's not, then you're fooling yourself as a coach and as a player.
Yeah. So like I said, I think the parents are buying in to what I'm trying to do, and everybody is. And I mean, like, they know the expectation now. We had some guys come from other places, and their grades weren't as good as the guys here. I'll take one guy, for example. He came and he might have had, I think, 3 Fs between his freshman and sophomore year, right? Fast forward going to his senior year, he had a 92 average overall last semester.
Whew.
It's just the expectation. I don't play by grade. We ain't gonna run no post route until I get my grade. So when the people say the expectations are high for Langston Hughes, my expectations are not in the same areas that everybody else.
Right.
Expectations. I mean, you have every coach has expectations to win the state championship every year.
Right.
Everybody expects it. Who expects their guys to be better guys? What are you doing it for?
Yeah, that's where it counts. That's where it counts. How's the summer going for you guys?
Oh, summer's going good, man. We had numbers, man. Like our numbers blossomed between 2 and 8 now. I mean, we're averaging 87 guys a day over the summer. Recent years, we've been maybe 53, 55, 48.
Right.
And we got a consistent 80. 70, 75 at the lowest over the summer.
Right.
And that's being able that helps you get a lot done.
Right. So those 75, how many of those, what's the percentage of those that you're expecting to play on Friday nights?
I usually travel and dress on varsity. Everybody I dress on varsity is capable of getting in. So I usually travel anywhere from, depending on the week, 58 to 65.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I usually travel.
Right.
So that's why I equate to play. If
Right.
you put on the jersey on the sideline, it's a chance you're gonna get in. So be ready.
Right.
So
now how deep you guys, you think?
I mean, you can never have enough depth. I don't think you can
especially
ever
up front.
have enough depth.
Especially up front.
Never have enough. I mean, you can have 14 guys, you think. 2 injuries, boy, that 14 looks like 3.
Oh yeah.
You can have numbers, like strength in numbers, right? I never forget, we played a game going to the week. We had, speaking of D-line, we had 9 guys we were working in practice in 2 days. That game, first quarter, one guy went out, another guy went in, another guy got hurt. So I'm down 2 guys. So that took that 9 down to 4, because on one guy could play one position and the other, it was like,
man.
It was crazy.
Oh man.
It was crazy. So depth, you can never have enough depth. And I think, our scout team does a great job. And I always tell my scout team guys, fellas, what you're doing, we're noticing. I had a scout team guy last year. He was scout team for 2 years. Ended up starting varsity last year. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta get consistent.
Right. Now you try to get out of this question. I'm not gonna let you do it. Recruiting wise, how you guys doing?
Langston Hughes. I mean, we have a few guys, and we have a few guys.
Way to be politically correct, Coach.
Yeah, we do. I mean, like I said, I see these guys every day.
Right.
But we have a couple guys. I mean, we got quite a few recruitable guys.
Right.
They go into their senior year, some juniors, some even going to their sophomore years.
Right.
I mean, I have a couple of linemen, a running back, quarterback. I mean, we got guys in different positions, man.
Right. Everybody got that. Friday they got a D line, they got an O line. Yeah. Okay.
What question are you asking specifically?
Listen, audience. He's not going to answer the question that we put to you like that. Go online, go on Rivals 24/7. Look at the guys that he's getting presently recruited right now. And it's no mistake why this guy has kind of expectations that he has on this year. Not even this year, but you guys are pretty young. That you told me. So you got a chance to make some noise.
My coach does a great job. I mean, we got our 8th grade class coming in pretty strong.
Right.
I mean, we got a good 28 8th graders going to 9th grade, and they are going to be contributing on varsity. So
really, 28?
It was about 28 guys came as far as 8th graders, 9th graders.
Gotcha.
But of that, maybe about 10 to 15 are going to contribute on varsity.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
We don't, freshmen, if it's close, we're going young. If you're a freshman, you stand out, you're going to play here.
Right.
There's no doubt. I'm going to get you 4 years worth of varsity experience on film. I'm sorry. I bought that from White, Cannon, and I'm going to stick to it. If you are capable, you're going to play Langston Hughes. The grasp the concept, play fast, give 100% effort, and do your job, you're going to play.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Like I said, we got, my leader is probably Antonio Martin, running back. He's committed to Georgia Tech. He is
Georgia Tech. They're making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
I'm hearing, geez.
Tashad Choice and Coach Larry Knight are both recruiting him. Choice,
Coach Choice.
He does a great job, and Antonio is going to be phenomenal there at Georgia Tech. For one, like I said, he's a student.
Right.
He has a 92 overall GPA.
You got to be a student to go to Georgia Tech, first and foremost.
Like I said, I mean, he's probably my leader.
Right.
We go. He was battled injury last year. Wasn't able to finish the season, but he's come back even stronger than he was the year before he got hurt. Jonathan Hughley, that's my left tackle. He's another, coming in. He's a junior. He's an upcoming junior. He's a leader. He leads the guys, pushes the guys. They kind of follow his lead.
Right.
Xavier Smith, Prentice Nolan, T. Love, Josh Horton. I mean, we got some guys,
right,
that can, that are being recruited and only helping us get notoriety. I gotta tell everybody, you got potential. I don't want potential. I want to live up to my potential.
There you go. There you go. Like Coach White said, when you got a player laden team, where the players dictate the tempo, you got a chance.
Yeah.
If the coaches dictate the tempo, you in trouble.
Yeah, and like I said, they know how to put. Like I said, the majority of this team was 2-8.
Right.
The majority of this team was 11-2.
Right.
They know what it feels like to be on both sides.
Right.
It wasn't like we were 8-2, 10 games, 6-4. No, we were 2-8, 11-2. So
right.
They know what it feels like to be on both sides of the spectrum.
Right.
And I often challenge that. What is it going to look like? How are you going to respond? I ask them that every day. How are you going to respond when the pressure is on?
There you go.
And I work, bad situations in practice.
Yeah, you definitely got to get that in. I remember that one time. Who were we playing? Banneker, as a matter of fact, when we were coaching. We had been preparing for. It wasn't spread at the time. What did they run at the time when we were there?
And they came out of double tight, and they came out double tight with an H. I said, God.
Yeah, so you prepare for the unknown.
It's crazy that you say that. That offensive coordinator was my cousin Jabal. He's now my receiver coach. And I asked him. I said,
shout out to your cousin.
I said, hey man, what was that? He said, hey, we knew we couldn't throw the ball. We had a come down. He said that week we went double tight, extra tight end. It was crazy.
Shout out to him because we scrambled. We was in scramble mode for a whole quarter.
Oh, but timeout. Quick.
I was like, man, what we got going on?
Take a DB off, put another linebacker on, put a D lineman on. It had 9 gaps. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Jeez.
Yeah, so
it was a tight game. We still won, but it was that game was tight. Ooh.
Yeah.
Anyway, my boy, man, it's so good to catch up with you. Talk a little football, blast from the past a little bit. I'm proud of you, bro. I really am.
Man, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I mean, you were a part of my journey, so it's always a blessing to get back and talk to the guys who know you prior to where you are now.
Right. So anytime you need a get back coach, bro, just let me know. Give me a sweatsuit.
I'm gonna get you out of Florida. I'm gonna get you back up here, coach.
Ooh, you gotta hit, man. I don't know, bro. You got some politicking to do.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get you to Langston Hughes. I'm gonna be here.
It's all good. Cool. All right. Listen, my man. I won't take up too much of your day. Like I said, I definitely enjoyed the time that you've given me. I don't like to say good luck all the time because my man Cassie said luck is when preparation meets hard work. So, man, stay at them. Keep it going, man. Keep your foot on the gas. And I look forward to seeing some wins in the win column this year.
Great.
All right, my man. Love you, man. Need anything from me, let me know, okay?
All right, brother. I appreciate you having me on, man.
No doubt, Boone. You have a good one. Take care.
All right, you too.